Hey there, you're listening to the Girls Talking Life podcast, and I'm your host, Yohonna. If you're like me, you love time with friends. I always leave feeling encouraged, inspired to try something different, or I've learned something new. So why not continue to grow even when we can't be with our girlfriends? We're not made to do life on our own. So in each episode of this show, I'll bring you a girl and her story to give you refreshing ideas to stir your soul. Let's walk this road together. Are you ready to talk life? Hey friend, you are listening to episode 100 of the Girls Talking Life podcast. 100 episodes! And I am celebrating today with this behind-the-scenes show, answering some of your questions and sharing my favorite 5. I have a notebook from several years ago, and on the very first page it says, things I'm interested in, things I'm good at, things I want to learn more about. And then I list out some things, including podcasting. That must have been in the want to learn more about category because I definitely hadn't tried it yet. I also had this strong nudge from God telling me to get started with a podcast. I was reluctant. If you're interested, I will link to Don't Ignore the Nudge podcast where I talk more about this story. I didn't want to put myself out there. I didn't want to speak publicly or risk messing up or sounding silly. But I also wanted to be obedient to what I felt like the Lord was asking me to do. So in January of 2017, I bought the domain for Girls Talking Life. I started dreaming about what it could be. I designed my website. I wrote and rewrote my purpose statement and thought about who I could have on as a potential guest. I was still hesitant because what do I know about podcasting? So there was this volunteer position open with another podcast and it caught my eye. And I went to work with Alex and Krista of the Open Door Sisterhood, one of my favorite podcasts, for a year before I started recording my own episodes in 2018. I finally hit publish on my very first episode in November of 2018 with a girl, Carly Hager, and her story of redemption and hope. I was so nervous to record that episode and I edited it, but eventually the phrase, done is better than perfect, allowed me to press publish and put it into the world. Since then, I've had so many more conversations with incredible women, and you have listened in, and hopefully you've been challenged and encouraged. We have talked about things like surviving tragedy. We've talked about motherhood, about friendship and hospitality, about being godly wives, about the Enneagram, mental health, how we spend our time, our dreams and our callings, and so much more. And it has been a blast. I am so honored to be able to bring you these conversations. I have been asked a lot of questions by listeners like you, so I'm going to answer a few of the most common ones I get. How do I find the women I interview? So many different ways. When I first started, I asked women I knew who had encouraging stories that I wanted to be able to help share. And then once I'd been podcasting for a while, people started to ask if they could be a guest on the show. I get guest pitches from people's assistants and public relations people who want to have their client on the show. But probably my favorite way to find guests is just I follow someone. I like what they're putting into the world. And after I get them to know a little bit through social media or through groups I'm a part of, I'll invite them to be on the show. Most importantly, I want women to be the women that you want to hear from or that you need to hear from. And I want you to know that they're all thoughtfully and prayerfully considered before I invite them on. Question number 2, which episodes are my favorite? Okay, this is something that I cannot answer easily. I have enjoyed every conversation with every woman I've had on the show. There is something meaningful for me in each one of them, hopefully for you too. But if I had to list a couple of favorites, it would be these. And this is only from episode 50 to 100 because I couldn't even go back any farther. I was listing so many. Number 51, Taking Left Turns with Jesus with Kristen Dooley. This is just a fantastic God story. If you just need some encouragement, if you feel like you haven't been hearing from God or you haven't seen him move lately, episode 51 with Kristen. It will just get you excited about God all over again. Number 57, Finding Mom Friends with Melanie Dale. Melanie is just hilarious. It was just a blast to talk with her and the benefits of having mom friends. Just a great episode. Number 61, Living Victoriously with Mental Illness with Carla Arges. Carla just has an amazing story. It is so encouraging to hear how she leans on God and loves Him and looks to Him when she is having some dark battles. Love Carla. Number 73, Breast Cancer Warrior with Casey Sintek. This girl is a fighter, and during her battle with breast cancer and even the surgeries that she's still enduring, this girl just wants everyone to live for Jesus, and she wants them to know how He has been so faithful to her. Love talking with Casey. Number 74, A Warm and Welcoming Home for the Holidays with Alita Casey. Alita is just the sweetest, and I invited her on to talk about making our homes warm and welcoming, obviously. But Alita and I also talk about depression and about how she reached out and asked these women to come be with her. She needed their friendship and their encouragement in her darkest period. So yes, it is a fun episode about decorating your home, but Alita is also just so transparent and shares some of her really hard struggles. Great episode. Number 79, Manage Your Money on Mission with Katie Jones. Okay, money is not my favorite topic. It just didn't sound like something I wanted to talk about. And Katie, I'm sorry that I'm sharing this. If it sounds insulting to you, it is not. What I'm trying to say is that you blew me away. I love talking with Katie. She had such a fantastic perspective on money and how to use it to be on mission for God. Blew me away, changed my whole perspective. And if you feel this way too, definitely go listen to number 79. Then most recently, Confront the Limits of Your Love with Amy Wolf. Amy's story is so good. And I feel like it's just something that we all need to be focusing on, is loving people who are different from us. They don't have to believe what we believe. They don't have to vote the way we vote. They can have different opinions on parenting. But we, as followers of Jesus, are called to love people. In a sermon that I heard recently, the pastor said, "Be unyielding in truth, but gentle with people." We really have to find a way to love them where they are. And I think Amy's story and her encouragement is just for all of us. Go listen to number 85 if you haven't yet. And I truly loved the Summer of Friendship series that Sarah Westfall and I did this summer. It was something fun. It was a little different than the guest interviews I'm used to, but it was special and meaningful in a new way, and I hope that you thought so too. Okay, next question. How long does it take to create an episode? Thankfully, I've gotten a lot better at this. Practice makes faster. I used to take a really long time to edit, but these days I am a lot quicker. I don't time myself, but I think it takes about 8 hours from interview to published episode. Do I get paid for podcasting? No, I do not get paid. I actually pay money to bring you this show, believe it or not. It's not a lot, but there are fees here and there for things like your domain, hosting for your website, and a fee to host your show, the podcast audio itself. Those are the necessities. There's a couple extra things I pay for that are just nice, but not essential. So if you love Girls Talking Life and you're interested in supporting the show, there are a few ways that you can do that. You could leave a review. If the platform that you listen on has a place to leave a review for the show, do it. It takes a minute or two of your time, and it lets me know what you're liking, and it helps other women find the show. Another thing you could do is share the show or an episode with someone you know. In Apple Podcasts, you can share a podcast or a specific episode with someone via text. I'm not sure about all the other podcast players, but another way to do this is to share a Girls Talking Life post on social media. You can also forward the GTL newsletter to a friend, or you can even just say, hey, there's this podcast I like. You should listen to it too. Something else you could do to support the show is buying something through an affiliate link I share. It is just a way for the show to earn a small percentage of the purchase, and it doesn't cost you anything else. So for example, later in the show, I'm going to tell you about a program that I use called Faster Way to Fat Loss. And if you hear me talk about it and you want to try it, you could use the link in the show notes to sign up, and the show would earn a small amount based on you purchasing that. So it's you buying something that you already want, but I get a small portion that I apply directly to the cost of the show. Lastly, I have a few products for sale in the Girls Talking Life shop. I have conversation cards with prompts and questions for you to use at your next girls' night. There is a digital version and a physical version, and they are so much fun. I also have a mini course that helps you plan a meaningful gathering from start to finish. I have a few more things in the works that will be in the shop soon, but these are all ways that you can support the show, and I appreciate anything that you do. Final question. What was the most surprising answer to a question you asked? What totally blew you away and you had to collect yourself to continue? Well, there have been so many interviews where I've cried or teared up at the guest story. Sometimes it's because of how lovely they speak of God's goodness, but the one who blew me away was Holly Daniels in episode 19. Holly's whole story is amazing, but when she talked about her childhood, my heart absolutely broke for her. She shares that she was using drugs by the age of 11 and was prostituting by 15. Her story thankfully has a happy ending, but wow, it was so rough to hear how it started. I've linked to her episode in the show notes. It is one of the most downloaded shows ever. And coincidentally, she and I just recorded a DTL Extra, a bonus episode that's going to come out very soon, so you can hear about what she's up to now. Look for that in a couple of weeks. On every episode, I ask my guest for her favorite five things she's loving, and I thought it would be fun to share my current favorites with you. A product that I've been loving is Juice Beauty's Stem Cellular CC Cream. I've been using their products for a few years now. I use a lot of their skincare, but this is my absolute favorite thing to put on my face. The stuff is amazing. It is made without all of the chemicals, which is really important to me. It has SPF in it, so I don't have to worry about sun damage. It evens my skin tone, and it gives me this glowing complexion every day. Highly recommend their CC cream. The next is Stitch Fix, which I'm sure you've probably heard about. You've probably heard or seen other women on the internet talking about it. And I haven't mentioned it because I didn't want to seem like I was just joining the bandwagon, but I really do love this service. I am not a fan of clothing shopping. Too many decisions. But with Stitch Fix, there are 5 things that come, and that's all you have to decide on. Keep it or send it back. And those 5 things have hopefully been tailored to your taste and your preferences, so there's a chance that you will really like it. I've been noticing that when someone compliments something I'm wearing, it's almost always something I've gotten from Stitch Fix. So that's how it made my top 5. It makes shopping so much easier. Another product that I love is Pure Haven's Sugar Scrub. In the past, Pure Haven body oil has been on the top 5 for me, and I still love it and I still use it, but its cousin, the Pink Grapefruit Sugar Body Scrub, has beaten it out this year. It smells delicious, exfoliates, it moisturizes, and softens my skin. I don't use it every day, but it is definitely part of my shower routine. Makes me feel like I'm in a luxurious spa. Next up, favorite number 4. Is the Faster Way to Fat Loss, like I mentioned earlier. In the summer of 2020, I joined my friend Abby's new client group for the Faster Way. I do not love this name. It is a little gimmicky to me, but don't let the name fool you. This program is amazing. You learn about whole food nutrition, you focus on hydration, and you move your body. You have access to 30-minute workouts that are new every day. A long time ago, I would do workout videos where you do the same workout or the same couple of workouts over and over again, and this is so much better. In the past, I would also go to the gym, and I would kill myself for an hour. But these 30-minute workouts are very doable. It is all doable. It is not something that you're going to burn out on. I look forward to them. I lost some inches that I needed to lose. I'm getting better sleep. I have more energy. I have gained muscle. I see definition in my arms and my legs. It's fantastic. That is possibly the most exciting part for me. I will link, like I mentioned, an affiliate link to this. If you want to join Abby's new client group for the Faster Way at any point, the link will work. It will take you to her new client page and show you when she is starting a fresh group. That is a way you can support the show, and I highly recommend it. It has been so beneficial to me. My fifth and final favorite is the Bible recap. This reading plan and podcast have completely changed how I feel about reading my Bible. It's a chronological one-year reading plan, but do not let that discourage you. I cannot do it in a year, and I don't try to. It takes me about 18 months, and I'm totally fine with that. How it works is you read that day's chapters from the Bible, then you listen to the short podcast episode on those chapters. Tara Lee Cobble is the host, and she walks you through what you read. Some of it is exactly what the name suggests. It's a recap. And some of it is deep diving into the meaning of the text or historical details that you wouldn't know unless you were a Bible scholar. She also looks for God in the reading every day. Even though he's not specifically named, she always points to him. This podcast has been a game changer for me. I am about to finish my second trip through the entire Bible, and I know more about God's character and the whole full story of Scripture and the wonder of Jesus more than ever. I have 25 days of reading left, and then I'll take a break, but I am going to start again on January 1st. If you are interested, even the tiniest little bit, I urge you to give it a try. If you have questions about it at all, please ask me. Let's read God's Word together. And this one is not an affiliate link. I make no money on this whatsoever. I just want you to be in the Word. Okay, friend, that is a wrap on this 100th episode. Thank you so much for celebrating with me. I hope to bring you 100 more. But listen, I want to hear from you. Message me on Instagram, email me, leave a review in your podcast player, however you want to get in touch. Tell me what you'd like to hear about next. What is resonating with you? And thank you for those women who have already reached out to me. Ladies like April and Robin and Kara and Marlo and Sarah and Luz. I am so glad you're here. I'm honored that you're listening, and I am praying that this show meets you right where you are. All right, you know what's next. Friend, don't let the conversation stop when the show is over. Share your story and start your own conversations with the girls in your life. I will see you back here in 2 weeks talking with Robin Chapman about our ordinary selves walking with an extraordinary God. Thanks for tuning in.